Digital Confusion Pakistan. This editorial critiques Pakistan's new Digital Nation Pakistan Act and its opaque bureaucratic framework. On January 29, 2025, Pakistan enacted the Digital Nation Pakistan Act 2025 with the avowed aim of transforming Pakistan into a digital nation by enabling a digital society, digital economy, and digital governance. Avowed aim means the stated or declared purpose. Digital nation means a country whose society, economy, and governance are driven by digital technologies. This sentence means that on January 29, 2025, Pakistan passed a law with the declared purpose of achieving a comprehensive digital transformation. The act was immediately hailed by sections of the Pakistani media as a legislative milestone and a groundbreaking initiative, and for laying out a structured approach for redefining Pakistan's digital landscape and thereby accelerating economic development, enhancing public service efficiency, and fostering citizen well-being. Legislative milestone is an idiomatic expression meaning a significant achievement in lawmaking. Groundbreaking initiative is an idiom meaning a revolutionary new plan. Structured approach means a systematic plan or method. Digital landscape refers to the overall digital environment of the country. This sentence means that the act was widely praised for promising to systematically transform Pakistan's digital systems to boost development and public services. These laudable aims invite a closer look at the act to discover the provisions that give rise to these heightened expectations of imminent progress. Laudable aims means commendable goals. Heightened expectations means increased hopes for rapid improvement. Imminent progress means soon-to-be-achieved improvements. This sentence means that because the goals sound praiseworthy, the act deserves detailed examination to see if it can truly deliver progress. While the preamble of the act confirms these aspirations, the 30 sections that follow achieve little more than the setting up of three distinct yet overlapping regulatory bodies to bring about this digital transformation. Preamble means the introductory statement of a law. 30 sections indicates that the act is divided into 30 parts. Setting up means establishing. Distinct yet overlapping means the three bodies are separate but share some functions. Regulatory bodies means official organizations tasked with oversight. This sentence means that despite promising lofty goals, the act mainly creates three agencies with overlapping roles. The first of these is the National Digital Commission, which has the mandate of approving the substance and strategy for delivery of the National Digital Master Plan, to ensure coordination amongst federal, provincial, and sectoral bodies, and to review cases of non-compliance. Mandate means official duty or authority. Substance and strategy refer to the content and plan of the master plan. Editorial National Digital Master Plan is the comprehensive blueprint for digital transformation. Non-compliance means failure to follow rules. This sentence means that the National Digital Commission is responsible for shaping and overseeing the digital transformation plan and enforcing compliance. The second is the Pakistan Digital Authority, whose task is to develop, update, and implement the master plan. And the third is an oversight committee established to independently review the performance of the Pakistan Digital Authority and to report to the Commission. Implement means to put into action. Oversight committee means a body set up to monitor performance. This sentence means that the act creates a second body to execute the master plan and a third to independently review that execution. These bodies themselves are dominated by the government and the bureaucracy. Bureaucracy means government officials and administrative systems. The sentence means that controls over these new agencies rest firmly with the state apparatus. The 18-member commission is essentially a ministerial coordination body comprising the Prime Minister, provincial chief ministers, and ministers in charge of IT and telecom, planning and development, commerce, interior, economic affairs, and information and broadcasting. Ministerial coordination body is an idiom meaning a group of ministers working together to manage policies. This sentence means that the National Digital Commission is made up of high-level government officials from various ministries. Chairpersons of FBR, NADRA, PTA, SECP, State Bank, and the proposed Pakistan Digital Authority are also permanently represented on the commission, whilst the Commission has the power to invite others it deems necessary. FBR stands for Federal Board of Revenue. NADRA means National Database and Registration Authority. PTA is the Pakistan Telecommunication Authority. SECP stands for Securities and Exchange Commission of Pakistan. Permanently represented means always included as members. ACE deems necessary means considers important. This sentence means that key regulatory leaders are fixed members of the Commission, which can also call on additional experts. The proposed authority appears to be the operational arm of the Commission. However, in actual fact, it seems to be an extension of the Prime Minister, who has the exclusive authority to appoint and remove its 3 members. Operational arm means the part responsible for day-to-day implementation. Exclusive authority means sole power. This sentence means that while the Pakistan Digital Authority is supposed to execute the master plan, it effectively extends the Prime Minister's control. The Oversight Committee, comprising mainly of secretaries from the IT, Finance, and Planning ministries, already represented at the Commission, comes across as a subset of the Commission. Subset means a smaller group within a larger body. This sentence means the Oversight Committee largely mirrors the Commission, undermining its independence. The Digital Nation Pakistan Act hides more than it reveals. This sentence means that beneath its promising language, the Act is vague and obscure about real digital progress. Only 2 points in this elaborate and expensive regulatory framework suggest that this structure is actually linked with digitalization of the society and economy of the country. Elaborate means complex and detailed. Expensive means costly. This sentence means that out of the many provisions, only 2 seemingly relate directly to digital transformation. The first is in the inclusion of chairpersons of certain regulatory authorities in the list of permanent members of the Commission, and the second is in the requirement that members of the authority be eminent professionals with recognized expertise and integrity, with at least a bachelor's degree and a minimum of 10 years of experience in digital transformation, technology policy, and governance. Eminent professionals means highly qualified experts. Recognized expertise and integrity means demonstrated skill and honesty. This sentence means that the Act only loosely ties its digital goals to the qualifications of some members. However, even these 2 points are weak. This sentence means that these positive aspects are insufficient. Firstly, the failure to include the chairperson of the Competition Commission of Pakistan, CCP, as a permanent member of the National Digital Commission suggests that the drafters are unaware of the critical need to balance competition and innovation in the digital economy. Competition Commission of Pakistan, CCP, is the agency responsible for promoting fair competition. This sentence means that omitting the CCP chair shows a lack of insight into fostering a competitive digital market. Secondly, the vague eligibility requirements for members of the authority hints at a fundamental lack of clarity as to the specific mandate of the authority. Vague eligibility requirements means unclear qualification standards. This sentence means that the Act does not clearly define the authority's purpose or the qualifications needed for its members. This focus on bureaucracy over the substantive objectives of digitalization is all the more surprising, given that in its 2018 Digital Pakistan policy, the IT and Telecom Ministry had not only clearly identified the policy objectives, laid out the legislative, infrastructure development and education strategy, and indicated the socioeconomic sectors that would be the focus of digitalization, but had also emphasized the importance of fostering a competitive digital economy. Substantive objectives means real, meaningful goals. Socioeconomic sectors means parts of the economy and society. This sentence means that the Act, unlike the clear 2018 policy, seems more about bureaucracy and control than about achieving real digital progress. However, the Act seems to be motivated by the need to consolidate the government's ownership and control of the digitalization process, rather than on building on the clarity of the 2018 policy and providing appropriate legal frameworks for implementing the digital policy goals already articulated in it. This sentence means that the Act appears designed to centralize power over digital transformation instead of enhancing and executing previously defined digital strategies. The champions of the Act may well argue that it's only intended to establish the infrastructure for the cohesive digital transformation of the country, rather than to provide granular details of how this transformation may be carried out. Cohesive digital transformation means a unified digital change. Granular details means specific, detailed instructions. This sentence means supporters might claim the Act is meant to build a framework, not to micromanage digital progress. However, they would be unable to explain why, in the presence of a comprehensive infrastructure of state, also headed by the Prime Minister, it is necessary to establish a parallel setup which is not made answerable either to the legislature or the judiciary. Parallel setup is an idiomatic expression meaning an additional, overlapping structure. This sentence means critics question why an extra, unaccountable digital agency is needed when the state already has a broad administrative structure. They would also not be able to clarify how an authority comprising only 3 members of unspecified expertise will have the capacity to define the strategic framework and priority areas for digital transformation, let alone monitoring compliance with the master plan and sanctioning noncompliance. This sentence means that an authority with only 3 vaguely qualified members seems insufficient to manage and enforce a national digital strategy. Most importantly, these champions will not be able to explain the shortcomings of the Act in respect of the digital economy. Digital economy means economic activities driven by digital technologies. This sentence means that the Act fails to address key issues, such as integrating with the global digital market and fostering local innovation. For instance, how, in the absence of any guidance in the Act, would the master plan devised by the authority balance the competing priorities of integrating Pakistan into the international digital economy while fostering domestic innovation and protecting data privacy of Pakistani citizens? Data privacy means the protection of personal information. This sentence means that without clear guidelines, the master plan will struggle to balance global integration, local innovation, and privacy protection. They will also not be able to clarify what value even the most well-crafted domestic policy would have against the ever-increasing momentum of the global digital economy, or dismiss the considerable regulatory burden that the slow-moving, top-down, and bureaucratic procedures prescribed in the Act would place on emerging Pakistani platforms as they try to gain a foothold in the rapidly evolving global digital space. Regulatory burden means the cost and complexity of compliance. Top-down is a phrase meaning controlled by the highest levels of government. This sentence means that the Act's cumbersome procedures may hinder the growth of new digital businesses. However, the aim of this discussion is not to argue that the Digital Nation Pakistan Act should not have been enacted, but to highlight that the Act hides more than it reveals. This sentence means that the purpose is to expose the Act's lack of transparency and substance. Therefore, even as the National Digital Commission, the Pakistan Digital Authority, and the Oversight Committee enter the Pakistani regulatory landscape, which already has such well-established regulators as the SECP, NEPRA, PEMRA, OGRA, and CCP, not only do their activities remain opaque, but also, and more worryingly, beyond legislative and judicial accountability. SECP stands for Securities and Exchange Commission of Pakistan. NEPRA means National Electric Power Regulatory Authority. PEMRA is the Pakistan Electronic Media Regulatory Authority. OGRA means Oil and Gas Regulatory Authority. CCP is the Competition Commission of Pakistan. Opaque means not transparent. Legislative and judicial accountability means being answerable to the law and the courts. This sentence means that the new digital regulatory bodies will operate without proper oversight, even though established regulators already exist. The writer is a barrister, an advocate of the Supreme Court of Pakistan, and holds a PhD in law from University College London. She presently teaches competition law at the University of Manchester. This sentence means that the author is a highly qualified legal expert and academic. Published in Dawn, March 8, 2025.